Alright, back again. This time with a fairly scary board to start 5-2 on. I don't think I like this. I think I would have rather started something like Bridge and Silver, or Sea Hag and Silver, probably even better. But that said, Saboteur might come in handy here. I don't think I'm going to start with that though. I think I'm just going to start with Sea Hag. May pick up a moat with Mining Villages, considering I've got $2 now, but I don't think that's going to be too helpful. With the amount of curses that I have, I'm going to try moat, I think. It's worth experimenting with. Especially considering Sea Hag is a fairly nasty attack with no proper defenses for it. So, he starts with 5 as well. Okay, that's fine. In that case, I'm not going to buy anything with 2, because I want to get that Sea Hag played as often as possible, and every extra card is going to reduce the incidence of that. So I'm going to pick up here a second Sea Hag, since he didn't get one, just to be bonus evil. Now I'll start getting money, plus some mining villages and bridges. Bridges are going to be particularly useful for the tunnel on the board. So he's got the moat, that's fine. Pick up silver. Can't, well, he's unlikely to have the moat 2 turns in a row, so 2 Sea Hags. Well, it's going to be approximately twice the amount of curses doled out. Of course, he can pick up a Sea Hag in response if he wants to, at which point I'm going to start accepting curses of my own. We'll see how this pans out. So he does play the moat. The reason I don't like moat, and why it's not a particularly powerful card, is because it is a 2-card terminal draw, which is not particularly enough, so that's a bit unfortunate. It does grab the moat yet again, but that's fine. I'm going to pick up some mining villages and things like that now, although normally silver is a little bit more useful right now. So with 2 Sea Hags, I don't want to pick up bridges yet unless I have some villages. So I don't really want to pick up mining villages because the chances of the Sea Hags are not high of collision. So I will pick up another silver for now. I think that's probably the best option here. It's going for bridges. The interesting thing about bridge on this board is that if he somehow manages to get a good engine going, he can sabotage provinces with Saboteur. But there's no trashing, so it's not really very reliable of doing. It's not really a very reliable way of doing things. It could pan out in the long run, but $4 villages, which he's not going to want to trash for money, are going to be a little bit slow. I think at this point I'm going to grab yet another silver. I think I'm just going to go straight big money with Sea Hags. I don't think this is a very viable engine board. And eventually, these Sea Hags are going to have to hit. In theory, no, apparently not. One moat has blocked them all. This is a little bit unfortunate. That's going to be another silver. Surely this one can't also be blocked with just one moat. 2 conquers, probably a mining village. Conspirator, interesting. So I don't really like that without cantrips. It's going to be very hard to make it connect. So again, as I mentioned, just more money. Here's gold. It's very nice, finally. Sea Hags do tend to slow down your economy quite a bit, and thus slow down the game as a whole quite a bit. Later on, I'm probably going to pick up some bridges so that I can incorporate tunnels. $2 tunnels, $2 for 2 points is very nice. If I can especially splash them with the province. So here's a gold. This Sea Hag is liable to be blocked again. He should be reshuffling probably after this hand. Yeah, there it is. But I don't think he has any golds yet, and I don't think his engine is going to come together. We'll find out. Stay tuned. again. So I've been a bit lucky that my sea hags haven't collided at all, but also been a bit unlucky that he's had a moat for the vast majority of them. That's Singleton moat. On the flip side, I'm glad that he hasn't picked one up in response, so that would slow this particular strategy down quite a bit. This 5 could easily be a harvest for about $2 to $3 in revenue. I think instead I'm just going to continue buying silvers. Actually, at this point I'm going to pick up a mining village, just because I can then choose to trash that as a one-shot grand market for either gold or province, as the case warrants. I don't particularly need more silvers. I think I've got a good saturation of silvers at this point. And if I do happen to, on the very rare chance that I draw it with my sea hags, I can play both of them. It's very unlikely. I don't think that's. I'm not particularly relying on anything of the sort, but you never know. Here's another gold, and another gold. I'm just going to keep picking up golds until I can finally get provinces at this point. So, there's a mining village, and possibly something else. I think in his shoes, he could very easily go for vineyards, which is a little scary. I might pick up another sea hag if I get less than 6 again. I do want to kind of slow that down, curse him a bit, but I don't want to slow myself down too much in the process. So here's a province, that's nice. I think actually vineyards is going to be what he's going to go for after a moment or two here. So I may want to try to 3-pile somehow. There's mining villages that can get low quickly enough, especially if I pick up a bridge or 2. Duchies, tunnels, those sort of things are both very useful to me. The bridges aren't going to be particularly useful to me. He seems to be doing reasonably well with them, actually. It's a little bit alarming, but I don't think it's going to be too worrisome. So this is $5 moat. Okay, so now I definitely don't want more sea hags. I think the moats are going to slow him down more than anything else. So, but he does get the gold as well. So he is actually transitioning kind of nicely here. That moat stopping almost all of the curses has been pretty much invaluable for him. A bit lucky, really, but such is the lay of things. There's another gold. And really the treasure is going to, oh man, the moat yet again, it's going to hit. It's amazing. So here's another gold. I think that should probably be the last gold that I need. I'd rather pile the duchies at this point. I might pick up some bridges if necessary. Let's see what the mining village draws. That's a copper, so 7 isn't really going to help me. No, I'll just go for duchies at this point, I think. Sea hag, and here's a duchy. So here's a province. That's really nice. The moat was on top of his deck. That's a bit fortunate, as opposed to being his hand. Considering that I now have a sea hag in my hand again. So this shuffle, it's very unlikely that he's going to have something to. Oh, wow. How did he? Anyways, that's second. Oh, he's got a third moat now. Okay. So he's really not liking those curses, but I don't think that's going to work out for him. Really, those moats are not particularly helpful. He's going to need a whole lot of mining villages to cope with what he's got in his deck. Mining villages are the only way that he can get the conspirators to, well, the single conspirator that he has to activate. Meanwhile, I'm picking up provinces. And I'm hoping to pile if I do slow down too much before he can get too many vineyards, if that is what he's going for. We'll see how that works out for me. So I really do like bridge as a card in general. Oh, that's painful. So he is going for provinces now. That's, I suppose, good for me in some sense. And bad for me and others, considering he's able to pick up quite a bit of points, but but again, I don't think that that's going to work out in the end, but we'll see. I don't think this is fast enough. Especially with the sea hags slowing it down at least somewhat, but considering I've gotten 2 sea hags and only given them 3 curses by turn 19, that's fairly distressing. Here I'm going to reshuffle. I kind of want that gold, and I don't want anything that costs 4, so I will trash it and take up a gold. Here's a province. That's kind of nice. And as you can see, sea hags do tend to make the game drag fairly heavily. We'll see how this ends up playing out. Hoping that I don't lose a 3rd game in a row on my quest to 40. This is going to be very difficult to continue if I do. Duchy and just a nice pause for dramatic effect. I'm out. Okay. So there's a province. The duchy, I presume. He's not going for vineyards at all, which I think is a mistake with the deck that he's got, but that's alright. The duchy for me. I think I will pick up an estate here. Still a fairly beefy deck, and ouch, that's a province. Definitely going for an estate then. So I got 4 votes. These sea hags are going to be more or less dead cards, but I should have enough live cards in my deck, but that's not going to be a concern. So if the mining village doesn't draw something, I'll trash it for a province. I think that's necessary at this point. And he seems to possibly be able to pick up a province. If he does pick up a province especially, I need to trash this into the game. I don't know exactly how the game is currently looking, but I think I've got a lead. We'll find out in a moment, once again, on this fine Dominion miss. There it is, 40 points to 32. Good game.